Living in deserts. Demanding deserts. Dictionary definitions of the word desert typically describe dry lands, even inhospitable environments that can support little to no life. While that definition accurately describes some desert regions, other desert landscapes are teemingly with life. A desert might include trees, shrubs, and cacti growing on mountains sides, thriving with many kinds of creatures. Other deserts appear to be endless seas of sand, with waves of rolling sand dunes. Streams and rivers pass through some desert regions, although they might remain dry at certain times of the year or for long periods of time. All desert environments have some aspects in common. Deserts are arid places that usually receive less than 25.4 centimeters of precipitation each year. Deserts typically have dry soil and less vegetation than other areas. Some deserts can get very cold, but some deserts are sunny and hot. Nearly 1/5 of Earth's land is deserts. 5 of Earth's 7 continents have hot deserts. Europe and Antarctica are the exceptions. Deserts also vary in size. Some deserts are small, but others are huge. Let's travel around the world to learn more about some of the world's deserts and the indigenous people who have lived in them for thousands of years. People who live in deserts survive just like everyone else by adapting to their surroundings. Locating food, water, and shelter is the same in the desert as in any other demanding location on Earth. People must satisfy their basic needs, or they won't survive. For inhabitants of desert regions, though, the desert isn't just about survival. The desert is so much more than that. It is home and a way of life to many people. The Tohono O'odham and the Sonoran Desert. The hot, dry Sonoran Desert stretches for 310,800 square kilometers across the southwestern United States and northern Mexico. Months may pass without any rain, and the summer days can reach 49 Celsius. At other extreme, winter nights can dig below freezing. Compared to other deserts, however, the Sonoran Desert is relatively lush and bountiful. It rains in the Sonoran Desert more than in any other desert due to its location near the ocean. Summer monsoons often drench the entire desert. Shade trees, large cacti such as the saguaro, and even small summer flowers and grow there. The Tohono O'odham are indigenous people who live in the Sonoran Desert, one of 3 main groups within the larger Ohlone O'odham. Ohlone people. Tohono O'odham means desert people. For thousands of years, the desert has provided the O'odham with water, food, and shelter. Over the past few hundred years, however, people from other countries have occupied and slowly taken away the land of O'odhams have lived on for thousands of years. The land that remains under O'odham's control is divided among 4 tribes, one of which is the Tohono O'odham Nation. Onoham people at the Gila River Indiana Community and Action Indian Community and the Salt River Indian community also speak the Adams language. Although there are differences from tribe to tribe, the largest community and the capital of the Tohono Adams Nation is in Cells, Arizona. Today, O'odham people lived on reservations and off reservations in towns and cities. Using flood-water irrigation techniques such as water diversion, and carefully selected planting sites, the O'odham became masters at dryland agriculture. Growing crops such as corn, squash, and beans over time, O'odham's people began to learn more about modern life. They lost more of their land as they were pressured by the U.S. government to adapt to conform the ways of the United States. Despite this, the O'odham fought to maintain their traditions over the years. Many O'odham incorporated aspects of their traditions into their 21st century lives, including farming, cooking traditional recipes, and basket making. The Bedouin and the Sahara. The desert of the Sahara stretches across northern Africa. The rocky areas of sand dunes for 8.6 million square kilometers. It is extremely hot and dry. In the Sahara, when it does storm here, it is most likely a sandstorm or a dust storm. Because so little rain falls in the Sahara, few plants and animals flourish there. Bedouin people live throughout the Sahara and in North Africa. They also live in the Middle East, and the word Bedouin comes from Bad, the Arabic word of people of the desert. Traditionally, the Bedouin of the Sahara were nomadic, roaming the desert during the rainy winters and returning with their herds of camels, sheep, or goats to cultivate land over the dry summer months. Bedouin traveled from oasis to oasis or dug wells for water. Nomadic Bedouin people lived in low block tents called baites, made out of goat hair and sheep's wool. These tents protected them from the sunlight, wind, and blowing sand while they provided ventilation in the intense heat. Today, some Bedouins still live in baites. They can quickly dismantle baites, pack their camps, and move to another location. For more than 100 years, different countries had been taking over traditional Bedouin land. Today, many Bedouin are no longer nomadic, instead leading semi-nomadic or settling lands in houses and apartments in towns and cities. Some Bedouins still live as their ancestors once did. However, even nomadic Bedouin can get supplies from markets or other sellers. Bedouins no longer typically only work as animal herders, but also work in many other types of jobs. Mongolian nomads and the Gobi, stretching from 1 to 3 million square kilometers across southern Mongolia to the northern China and Gobi in Asia, is a mostly rocky landscape. Very few people live there. In the language of the indigenous Mongolian people, Gobi means large and dry, or waterless place. Traditionally, the Mongolian nomads who call the cold, windy Gobi home have herded horses, sheep, goats, cattle, and two-humped Bactrian camels. Traditionally, Mongolian nomads live in a gyr, or a yurt, or round portable tent constructed from a wooden framework covered in felt that protects the desert dwellers from the harsh heat, cold, and the wind of the Gobi. While gyrs do a good job of protecting people from desert weather, animals can still suffer in it. Over the past few decades, thousands upon thousands of families have left nomadic life behind. Several factors have contributed to this mass movement of people from the desert to the cities. Exceptionally, harsh winters and dry summers caused thousands of families to lose animals, some their entire herds. Changes in the government also affected herders, making it difficult for them to earn a living. Since 1989, more than 500,000 Mongolian nomads have moved to Mongolia's capital city in search of food and work. Most brought their gears with them, leading to the development of the district of Kirs in the city. A way of life. People have called deserts home for thousands of years. Each desert presents different challenges, but the indigenous people who live there have always found solutions to make their environment work for them. In the past, people who lived in the desert relied almost exclusively on local resources to build homes and find food and water. Today, much has changed, and many desert dwellers lead modern lives. However, some continue to live traditional lives, as their ancestors once did, and many countries to celebrate the traditions of their desert communities. Life in the desert is as demanding as it is rewarding. The people who make the desert their home have always had a deep respect for their environment. They honor and utilize its ample offerings while also acknowledging its great power and beauty.